Hello, dear ones. So, today I'm going to speak to you about something I'm super passionate about, which is women's menstrual cycle. Because for big chunks in our lives, women experience a menstrual cycle. And that cycle has 4 distinctive phases to it. But most of the time, women are only aware of 2: ovulation and menstruating. Yeah, and we tend to look at menstruation or the menstrual cycle from a viewpoint of only being like this physiological occurrence that happens every month. But I want you to know that there's so much more to learn and know about this. And so today I'm going to take you through, each of these 4 distinctive phases together with the map of the 4 inner seasons. And I'm going to speak about superpowers and challenges and opportunities for growth. All right, let's go. So, I want to take you back now to Switzerland with me, my homeland where I grew up. And there, we still experience 4 very distinctive seasons in nature. So, when we look at nature in winter, what we would see is the land being very barren, not much happening when we look at it from the outside. But then, deep within the ground, within the earth, the land is renewing itself. Yeah, it's preparing itself for renewal as spring comes. And winter also, especially on a snowy day, has like this very quiet energy to it. Yeah. And now bringing that back to women's menstrual cycle, our inner winter is the time when we are bleeding, when we are menstruating, and that is also supposed to be a quiet time. Our energy during that time is at its lowest, and it is a time that invites us in for reflection. It's a time where we are invited to rest, to retreat, to nurture ourselves, to look after ourselves very, very well. Yeah? And when we do all that, the superpowers of this phase of our cycle is that we can really start to hear our inner wisdom more. And we can access, like that source of vision that wants to come through us. Visions for our life, for our families and communities, for the months or years even to come. Yeah. Now going back to Switzerland, where spring has arrived, and everything starts to kind of come up from the earth, up to the ground, and we see visually, wow, nature starting to be alive again, and we see more colors happening, and the days are getting longer, and there's like this youthfulness in the air. Now coming back to a woman's cycle, her inner spring is the time after menstruation all the way up to ovulation, the follicular phase, it's also called. And that is a very dynamic phase where our energy is rising, especially if we have honored, the more quiet, restful time of our inner winter. And during that time, we are very close again to the more analytical part of our brain. So it's a really good time to plan things, to action things, to catch up on things that maybe we didn't even get to do during the inner winter. And it's a great time to start new projects and to try out new things with that more youthful sort of energy. Yeah. All right, then going back to Switzerland. Now summer has arrived. Everything is in full bloom. The days are long. There's all these colors everywhere. And daylight until like 10 o'clock at night sometimes. And going back now to our inner summer, that's our time of expression. That is our time when our energy is at its most steady, a constant access to energy. And, we are at our most nurturing, most empathic during that time. And the woman is just magnetic. Yeah, she's ovulating, and she's just like, yeah, that magnet. And so this is a great time, going out there, sharing about your work, sharing about what's important to you, expressing yourself. It's a great time to have, conversations with people, maybe more tricky conversation, because of that more empathic, quality that comes through during that time in your cycle. Yeah. All right, and then going back to Switzerland again. Autumn arrives, and that's kind of, where nature is giving its all, like one more time. Like if you go into the forest, there's all these leaves, yellow, orange, golden, red, and it's just this kaleidoscope of beauty, creativity. But of course, these leaves soon enough are gonna fall, and the land is preparing itself for winter. Yeah. And so in the same way, a woman's inner autumn, that's the time, a few days after ovulation, all the way up to her next bleeding, her next menses. And it's a premenstrual time. And that is a time where, during a day, she will maybe have lots of energy for like 2-3 hours, and then boom, no, not much energy at all anymore. Yeah. So this is it's a very creative time, really, a very magic time in many ways. It's when she's able to access her subconscious quite easily. Yeah, it's a time where, flashes of insight can just come to her like that, and her discernment ability are really, really strengthened and heightened during that time. Yeah, so she can just see through the bullshit. Yeah. And so this makes it a really good time to really start to slow down and make a little bit more time in your day for white space, time where you're not actively doing anything. So this inspiration, this flash of insights can come to you. In my business, I use it a lot to write content. Yeah. And get creative during that time when you have these bursts of energy. Yeah. And of course, it's also a great time to then face yourself, to be honest with yourself, to look at your life. Okay, what does no longer work for you? What's no longer needed? What is ready to die, ready to be let go of? Yeah. Because you're close to the subconscious part of your brain. All right. So maybe now, hearing all this, you can already sense, that maybe some of these things, some of these phases could be more challenging to you than others. For some women, it's challenging to retreat, to spend time alone, to nurture themselves. For other women, it can feel, really challenging to action things and really see these visions through that they're having. And then for some women, it is frightening maybe to go out there and express themselves, to give voice, to what they are about or what their work is about. Yeah. And for others, the inner autumn, the facing yourself can be challenging, to just be intimate with all your emotions and feelings that arise throughout the inner autumn. Yeah. But all of these challenges are super duper opportunities for growth, for personal growth. Yeah. And so that's why I tend to tell women who work with me or come to my workshops, where I teach about this more, that the menstrual cycle is like a coach, an inner coach that's there for you to access. That doesn't cost anything. All you need to do is to start bringing more awareness to your cycle throughout the month. All right, so I hope you enjoyed this. This is it in a nutshell. I will speak to that more in the months to come. But if you want to learn more now, get a book, Wild Power, or go to my Instagram page and enter #OwnYourRhythm. Okay, goodbye.